What's happening?
What's up, buddy?
What's going on?
We're live.
Stop it.
Yeah, imagine that. And I keep freezing up. There's something going on with my internet.
Well, I certainly hope that that's not happening on my end.
No.
Can you, I don't want you to bring it up, but can you see what I loaded into the?
I can.
Okay, good. And can you see my pointer moving when you look at it?
I can.
Perfect. That means the people can see it too, if I need to even do it. But yeah, so it's been kind of an interesting week here.
So I heard.
Much to do. I don't know. I think after we had a lot to break down with respect to Tuesday night's council meeting. And I hope as people are joining in, I hope people will participate that may have been there or have questions or opinions or thoughts. I think the gist of it is kind of funny. The whole gist of it's just interesting how this is all playing, because you have a community that's desperately in need of a new fire facility. Maybe new, it depends on your opinion. Do you want brand new? Do you want a refurb? And there are pros and cons to almost every idea. And there are some that just shouldn't even be taken. There are some, I don't think any are off the table, but others think some are. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But before we go there, I do want to make a quick announcement, a plug, if you will, for the our friends at Adriana's. So Friday, August 25th, Adriana's has agreed to allow a Meet the Candidate night at Adriana's Cafe when they have their burgers out. And the campaign to elect Todd Sacco for council at large will be paying for the first 15 cheeseburgers or hamburgers.
Wow.
Cheeseburgers or hamburgers, because the fancy ones get even more. But any combination thereof. First 15 are on me.
All right.
And you will not, even if it's just a cheeseburger you get, you will not be disappointed.
I saw pictures of those things, man.
Yeah, they're really good.
Makes me want to fly up there just to get one.
It starts for me. So the first 15, I won't be there till 5:30, but more to come on that.
Okay.
We'll talk more about that later.
All right.
All right. So is there anything on your mind at all tonight?
No. What was on my mind is on your mind. And on a lot of people's mind, according to what I read on Facebook and some of the video I've seen, and pretty passionate meeting the other night, from what I understand. And you know what? I do have a comment, though.
Good.
The place was packed, right? It was packed. And now you can't, I saw people, I read people, their posts about we need a bigger venue. Well, people, if you showed up more often, they could probably say, yeah, we need to do this in a bigger place. But every other meeting, there's 7 people there, 12 people there. So no, you
9
can't
of them
say,
are the council.
yeah. And so no, you don't have the right to say we need a bigger place if you've never been to a meeting, or if you've been to one. It's like people should be going to these town council meetings on a regular basis. And I understand this was a champion the cause meeting.
Feel good story, right?
Real, it is. And there's a lot to it. I do understand that there's a lot to it. But people can't complain that the place wasn't big enough. Why are you surprised when all of a sudden, the town council meeting's been held in this room for how many years?
Well, first of all, you're right. And there is, so the last Tuesday was when the announcement was made. However, apparently the counselors didn't see anything from the Facebook stuff until the Friday. And at that point, you couldn't change the venue or you'd violate open meeting law. So I'm told. And to be honest with you, it is not their responsibility to scan Facebook.
No, it's not.
But I will say this. I'd rather see us try to use that auditorium in the high school anyway, the middle high school, because we paid beaucoup bucks for that thing, and it really doesn't serve a huge part of our population, but it could be used more frequently. I think we should have meetings in there. I do. I don't care how big it is, and
Did you say they paid Boca bucks?
beaucoup, but yeah, Boca. Same thing.
No, they
What's the
paid
difference?
Boca. They paid Boca bucks.
Boca bucks.
You guys paid Boca bucks.
We got a black
for
box
that
theater.
place.
We got a black box theater.
That's
Whatever that
the
is.
truth, buddy.
Oh, we did.
You paid Boca bucks for that place. Use it.
That's right. Let's get our money's worth out of the thing.
I think that's a great idea. You know, it's maybe it's something you can bring up when you get elected to the town council.
I'm going to at least, I'll probably have an answer to the question before I get elected. Look at me.
Yeah. But back to my point, you can't complain that the place isn't big enough if you show up for one meeting. You know, people should get more involved. I'm not lecturing, just making a statement. It's an observation. With that said, it was a great turnout. And maybe out of that 150 people that were there, you know, from standing in the hallways, maybe 10 of them will become more civic minded and be like, you know what, I'm going to come to more of these meetings because I want to know what's going on. You know, we can only hope that that's what comes from that.
That's right.
You know, out of everything bad comes something good. I live by that. I live by that motto.
There was always a yin and a yang.
Yeah, out of everything bad comes something good. You know, it was bad that not everybody got to see it and hear it. And from what I understand, they couldn't even hear it on the Zoom meeting, maybe or something. I saw something else. Somebody said microphones. They weren't near the microphones or whatever.
So yeah, despite the technical challenges, eventually someone outside had a giant speaker and they were cranking the audio.
Good.
And the video was on little, people watch on their smartphones, but there was a lot of feedback. So Jim was at times his intro was having to stop and try to catch up because he was getting confused. He was,
That's why people that sing the national anthem, most of them do it. It's pre-recorded.
Right.
So they don't have the echo coming back at them in those giant stadiums.
You can't do it. It hurts.
It's like when people call the show and they're watching their computer at the same time.
Right. They don't know to turn down the computer. Yeah.
So that's the only thing. That's my only observation. But the show is yours, my friend. Let's roll.
Yeah. So, all right. So just a little context for those who may not be super familiar with the situation. And what I mean is, this is a very complex issue and there's a lot to it. Number one, I want to say the firefighters haven't had a new building in over 80 years. Okay. We have replaced literally dozens of dozens of town buildings, or maybe a little bit more than a dozen, not quite dozens of town buildings in that time. Lots of town buildings. So,
yes.
And the facilities are pretty damn deplorable. And we have looked at over the years multiple different places, and there's pros and cons for all of them. I wish everybody had a bit more of an open mind to just living with whatever the people decide. Because to be honest with you, I have to say, and I don't mean any disrespect by this, because I love Patsy and Sandro. And in fact, I think there was Sandro. What we're going to start with is Sandro, his opening statement. But this was not maybe it would, I don't know if it was a worthwhile time, because it's on the ballot and it's going to stay there and we're going to have to vote on it. So
it's not debatable in a sense.
Right. I think people can start their campaigns for or against. I think Kathleen, you'll see Kathleen Capuccio on here. She made some very impassioned statements, but overall, it in the end, it didn't go as horribly as I thought it was going to. And I thought Jim did a great job. I gave him a B+ because I could hear him. That's one thing he wasn't always very good at. He showed. Without any further ado, if you can bring up the video. And now I got to make sure people can hear it. So at home. So I hope if people can't hear it at home, they'll speak up. All right. So this is Sandro. He's reading. He's read. We're not going to listen to the whole speech. Essentially, he was just reading the things they were concerned about that they didn't know. When we get to this point, he says something that I think, because this was before all the rest of it started. He says something that I want to have you listen to, and then we'll discuss it.
Okay.
The business and remaining in Winthrop. I hope this council understands the value that we bring to the community, and we want to stay. We know the firefighters support our business and our loyal customers, and we support them as well. This is not a statement against the building of the firehouse, which we understand is needed, and support that as well.
Thank you, Senator.
Oh, wait, I didn't go back far enough. Sorry. No. Rookie.
It's all right.
Let's go back. Okay, here we go.
Who pays for the increased rent that we may incur? We made it through COVID. With the help of all you loyal customers, obviously we have a lot, all you people here.
Recording in progress.
Only faced with the cost of supplies and everything else going up, it's been a hard time for all of us. We want you to know and the public to know that we don't intend to close our business. Our business is our primary source of income for our families. Since we posted a statement on Facebook outlining our values on being committed to the community, supporting the town departments, nonprofits, school organizations, and fundraisers for those who find themselves in need or in any other cases. We have heard from the town council president and separately from the town manager. Even though he's on vacation at the moment. We are encouraged by the comments that they plan on assisting us, the business, in remaining in Winthrop.
Did you hear that?
No.
Okay.
What did I miss?
What he said was, we are encouraged by the comments. So he heard from the town council. He heard from the town manager. He heard from the town council. He heard from the building owner. He said, we are encouraged by the comments. And before that, he said, we don't intend to close our business.
Ah.
So when he made those statements, it was on delay outside, right? It kicked out in a delay. So I want you to just now try to hear, see if we can hear. After he says that in the delay, you'll hear the people outside applauding.
Okay.
I hope this council understands the value that we bring to the community, and we want to stay. We know the firefighters support our business and our loyal customers, and we support them as well. This is not a statement against the building of the firehouse, which we understand is needed, and support that as well.
Thank you, Senator. Excellent. Appreciate it. Thank you, Sandy. Yes.
Yes, Terrence Delahanty, Precinct 6. I'm here tonight, obviously, as a loyal customer and also a strong supporter of the meat market. Over the years, they've helped us, police and fire, parks and recs, fundraisers, people that have had illnesses that other people were doing fundraisers for. And over the last 30 some odd years, 30 plus years that I've been going in there, they've become family.
I guess it's not as audible as I thought, but okay, we'll just move to this one because the chief came on. So I want you to, this is another important piece, okay? Because the chief's talking about a blueprint. Now, he's not there as the chief. He's there as a resident of the community in his own words. But he makes reference to what he wants to see happen for the Semino business, okay?
And not a business. They're the closest thing. They're just as close as my family is to me, my brothers, my sisters. My daughters and my wife are here, way in the back. And to get my wife here, is certainly a moving event. So I want everyone to know that I expect as a taxpayer and a voter of Winthrop, that the council, the manager, and government put together a plan for relocation, increased costs of rent, and to ensure that they have comparable space in town. Again, support the fire department. I understand their need. I've been in their firehouses. They're our friends as well, and strong supporters of the meat market. So that's my expectation of the council. I wanted to make sure that you understood my expectation as a voter, but also we have a footprint in already that we've done this. We've done this on the rebuilding of Miller's Field. We did an eminent domain taking of personal property, and we had to reconstruct that property. I expect them to be given the same benefits that we gave that business in town. So thank you for your time.
Thank you.
I'm not exactly sure what is the chief talking about, the shed on the golf course? Because they did an eminent domain take of land from the golf course.
That's the only thing I could think he's talking about.
And is it private property? Because the golf course is leased from the town.
Oh, that's a whole nother show.
Okay. So I don't know.
That's a whole
Well,
nother show.
oh, and by the way, in some upcoming comments from someone that you know and love, that's mentioned too.
Yeah.
But I do appreciate. So if I'm thinking of myself as a counselor, right? Like, to me, the ultimate goal here is that the people of Winthrop decide their community. So this idea, I think it's not a bad idea. It's a good one. And I feel very good that Patsy and Sandro and the other people in that building. What about the other businesses in that building? There's, I think, 7 or 8 more perhaps in that building. What about them?
From what I understand, there's really not a lot of places that they can go.
No. In fact, we'll address that too, because
Yeah.
I forget her last name, the president of the Chamber of Commerce, Shane, hold on. Betsy Shane. Yeah. Betsy Shane said there's no rentable retail office
Yep.
space.
Yeah.
The church has committed a bunch of money to a contractor to develop up there. So there's some challenges ahead for satisfying small businesses. And, there's so many sides to this thing, right? Because Sandro and Patsy and Semino's have been a staple here. They've been very visible. They help. They're very civic minded.
So is Delahanty on board with the eminent domain takeover or not? I couldn't figure out which way he was going on that.
Well, if I'm guessing, he is, as long as there's accommodations made for the
other businesses.
meat market. And he did not. Well, he didn't mention that.
He didn't say the other businesses.
No,
he
but
said
maybe he meant
I think he did say for the businesses affected. I think he said something.
something
Now,
like that. Yeah,
I got to make an observation.
of course.
Is that the fire chief in the front right there?
Scott Wiley. Yeah.
Oh, dude. He does not look like a happy guy.
So
Like everyone was laughing and his face was just dour. I just get the idea.
when he walked in the room, there was a few people that were like, boo. And they
Yeah, that he is just like all business right now. Like, forget the jokes.
I don't think they meant it towards him, but
Yeah, but he's all business right there. All right.
Yeah. So anyway, so just to kind of put a bow on this part of the whole conversation, I will say moving a kitchen like Patsy's is really challenging because
Oh yeah.
it's cookers and hoods and fryolators, and a lot of their stuff is old. Their walk-ins are out of code.
Yep.
So that they're legal because they're grandfathered in, but they won't meet the new standards when they move. So they're throwing numbers around like $500K to move them. So, maybe that's why all the attention's on Semino's, because it is the biggest. It looks like the biggest expense to move, and quite frankly, it is the most visible business in all the businesses that are in that building when it comes to charities and being out there and helping, community minded. No offense to any of the other businesses, but.
So let me throw something out there.
Please do.
Is there a chance that somewhere in the back of his mind, his family's mind, like, okay, we've been in the same spot, but Winthrop is only a mile by a mile and a half or so. No matter where he goes in the town, people are still going to go there, right?
Yep.
And maybe he gets a whole new business out of this. He gets new equipment. He gets new, you know what I mean? Like, and it's almost like a facelift to the business, because the business will always be the business. He's not going to change how he does business. It's not going to change whatever, you know, the meats or whatever he cooks there or whatever. None of that's going to change. You know? So maybe, again, out of everything bad comes something good. Maybe this is good for their business. If, now that's a big if, the town does the right thing, they find the right spot, and they get amply compensated for it, right?
Let me just suggest this, okay? We've had lots of businesses move. Let's start with Nick's. Now,
Yeah,
they wasn't an
they were
eminent
right
domain.
across the street, actually.
Right. It's not an eminent domain take. I
No.
get it. But businesses move. We'll talk about Woodside Hardware. Remember
CVS moved.
CVS. Remember Woodside now down the bridge instead of,
Yeah.
you know, Belle Isle.
Yeah.
I mean,
Businesses move.
I do believe this is going to actually be better for them in the end. I believe in that. Everything happens for a reason. And, you know, they're getting a little scared, and as
Of course they are,
and they're going to react accordingly, and they're going to rise above this.
But it's one of these situations where Winthrop is really good. They're really good at circling the wagons when they have to, amongst friends. You know, I can speak on that personally. You know, when my first wife passed away, the wagons were circled, man. People were there, you know, they showed out. When, you know, either way, it doesn't matter. I don't want to get morbid, but Winthrop is, so if they move, they should probably expect a surge in business from the support of the town of Winthrop, because Winthrop does that. It's one of the beauties of that town. Even the new Winthrop people. I know the old people. Maybe I can't speak on the new Winthrop people, but I would think that they would. I would hope that they would. You know, but I don't see anybody in there that hasn't been in Winthrop for 30 years.
Not in that room. Not in that room. So moving on to our dear friend, the Chicken Man. Vasily came to the meeting, and he actually made some fabulous points, and I'm going to obviously let him tell his own story, but I want to just say the fact that he came at this with a revenue angle, offered a potential solution that, well, when you hear it, you'll know, I'm sure some feathers were ruffled, and that he also talked about the Ordinance Review Committee. This was a great public comment period by Vasily again.
Vasily becoming a kind of a little bit of a rising star lately.
He's got too much time on his hands with the summer off, so we're gonna have to do something about.
According to him, he's busier than a one-arm paper hanger. You know what I mean?
Right.
According to him, he's like, "Oh no, don't get me involved." Yeah, okay, buddy. Yeah, we got you, buddy.
Let's get him on the phone.
Yeah, I might just
watching.
I might just have a private detective really follow him to see how much time he really has, because we could use him.
It's true, we could.
He says seasonal. Okay, buddy. All right.
Few words were never spoken. All right, here we go.
All right.
We are always, year after year, saying Winthrop doesn't have enough money. Winthrop doesn't have enough money. I am absolutely in favor of a safety building, but we cannot put it at a location, for example, the middle school site, where it will generate revenue. I am not in favor of more development for housing, absolutely not, but I do feel that there are opportunities out there that the town council can explore for us to use that property for revenue. If we're able to put both buildings, safety building and a revenue generating building there, fantastic, take advantage of it. But we cannot close ourselves out of that. Another thing that I think the town also needs to look a couple years down the line is we have 50.5 acres of land that we lease out to the golf course. How much revenue do we make off of the golf course? It is 50.5 acres. If we wanted to send that out to developers, or looking to lease that land, possibly put solar panels there, is that an opportunity for us to also generate revenue? We do not explore different ways to generate revenue in this town. We depend too much on taxes. We're now including trash fees. We are increasing water. What is going to happen? We're going to continue to increase with these types of fees, and we're going to push people out of town that can no longer afford.
So the working man is being pushed out of town.
Yeah.
So what I wanted to stop here, and I wanted to get your thought and anyone else's thought, if they're willing to share, about his thoughts on the golf course, what we could do with it.
Let me give you my thoughts. You ready?
I'm ready. I have asked the question as a okay. I'm being curious here. I'm being intellectually curious. Is there a net positive for the town of Winthrop to have that golf course? Not just
So my understanding
golf
is, and I'm not going after the golf course.
No, neither
I'm
am
just
I.
going off what I know, what I've heard. And please, somebody message in, correct me if I'm wrong, Colin. From what I understand, they pay like $15,000 a year, a month, a year for rent on their lease, whatever lease they have.
Well, they're paying back money that they owe. They owe a lot of back money, and they're making good on it. They are making good on it.
Right. But that's a lot of land.
What's that?
That's a lot of land.
It is. And it is. Well, I mean, look, what about this? Like,
And I know they don't like being on anybody's radar.
no, they don't. They don't like it. They get antsy. But come on, I mean, there's opportunity. In my opinion, there's opportunity there. Can we figure out a way to put a driving range in there or a Top Golf or something and open it up for people at night and on the weekends to come in and have some food and drive golf balls?
Absolutely, they could.
Right? I mean, let's get to Vasily's point. If you don't want to get rid of the golf club, let's incorporate it and make it a quasi-private public situation. Maybe we could help forgive some of their debt if they're willing to play ball. I mean,
Could they be taken by eminent domain?
We have a lease with them. I don't know the legal arrangements. I'm sure we could find a way to get out of it if we wanted to. But
Not that I want,
No,
again, I'm not.
But this is. Look, people keep talking about money. You heard Vasily say it.
Did you hear the reaction that people got when he said there's 50.5 acres?
Yeah.
People don't pay attention to it until wow, that's a number.
And then
that's a big number.
When he said the golf course after it, you could see the eyes rolling like, oh shit, here we go type stuff. If you were in the room, you could feel it. It was audible.
Yeah.
Audible. But the broader point here is, or not necessarily the broader point, but the broader point is no matter how much revenue we get, we're always going to be faced with decisions, hard ones. Okay. Always. Because, lots of money comes in. We got lots of money in the coffers coming in, and it's actually enough to fund, let me just throw quick numbers out there. Across the board, we could fund, let's call it 333, a 3-year contract at 3% each year. That would be an amazing contract in Winthrop. That would be a really good contract. Let's say we could afford that. Why would we want to, let's say we had just enough money to afford that, or even a little more. Why would we want to chew up all of the gains we're making in our budget, right? When we can start funding other lines and bring back some stuff, right? My point being is, when you start spending like that, which we will, because we'll have a school committee that will not stand its ground, and we'll need more money. So at least if we're getting more money, we're trying to get more money from people that come into Winthrop from elsewhere and pay meals tax and visit our businesses, right? Because it's hard to keep going back to the working man, the plumber and the plumber that married the teacher. Combined, they might be making $120,000 a year, and they got 3 kids. Or how about this? The mom that just got divorced from her abusive husband, who has 2 kids, and now, not only does she have to work 2 jobs to make ends meet, she's barely making ends meet. The trash. Now I got to buy trash bags because the trash fee wasn't enough. Oh, water rates are going up 34 cents a cubic foot. And I know I'm getting off the main topic of tonight, but the picture I'm painting here is he's right. We are pushing people,
Out of
we are
Winthrop.
pushing the working class out.
And how many times have I said that? You know, these screaming liberals that say Winthrop is not a diversified town, as they scream from this $700,000 house or their apartment that they're paying $2,400 a month for. You know what? Maybe Winthrop would be more diverse if the properties weren't so expensive and the rents weren't through the roof. You can't scream that about a town that has been pushed into the upper middle class. Pushed into it.
That's right.
All right, I'm done.
Oh, that's fine. You can do that. So Vasily goes on. So let's listen. Give it to us, Vasily.
It is on the town council now to find ways to generate revenue, take advantage of the opportunities that we have in front of us. I commend you guys for going ahead with this. This is fantastic. Is it the right location? You know, that's up to the voters here to decide in November. I'd also like to bring up one other point. Why is it okay for the voters to vote on this fire station in November, but it wasn't okay for the voters to vote on the changes made by the Ordinance Review Committee for the changes to the charter? I believe the votes were taken by the council, but I will tell you right now, I had very little information regarding those. I wish the councilors and precinct members had gone out and had town meetings and office hours to at least tell us, hey, this is what the Ordinance Review Committee is coming down the line. What do you guys think? Is this going to benefit us later on? We look too close at the small instead of the big picture of the town. And we need to start really moving the town forward. So I thank you guys. Keep it up.
So,
yeah, and they all probably cringed like, oh. And he had a point. Why is it okay to vote on this, but it's not okay because we are the town, as their pompous asses sat there behind their tables and said, no, we are the elected officials, the Tracy Honans and the John Munsons. We are the elected officials. We make the decisions. They elected us to make but now it's like, oh, this is a little sketchy. I don't want. I'm up for Munson. I'm up for re-election. And I heard he had some mumbo jumbo at the end about, oh, the passion that you people bring. That dude's up for re-election. He's going to talk as much crap as he can.
I actually have the clip. I thought it might be worthwhile because, you know, there are some opinions about what you're allowed to say and what you're not allowed to say. And we'll certainly get to that. So now this next speaker, hold on, where are we at? 30 minutes. Okay, so let's go to 30 minutes. Okay. So this is Kathleen. And let's just listen and we'll get into it as we go. But yeah, just listen.
What I'd like to say is, one, unless there was really logistic reasons why this meeting is being held here, I don't understand. We've got our brand new high school that has state-of-the-art video functioning. There is probably maybe 100 or 200 people outside. Everyone in this town knew that there was going to be a lot of people at this meeting, and I think it really just does a disservice to not to have had this meeting here. I really think it was a really big mistake.
By the way, for the record, in Jim's opening, he asked to hold applause, like no applause, please. And they, from the jump, the crowd wasn't listening.
They're taking a beat.
So again, for the future, if there's a big issue like this, please utilize the buildings that we have, the taxpayers have paid for, and have a meeting there. I, for one, as well, love Patsy and Sandro and the meat market. We all do. They're, again, a huge benefit to this town. The one thing I would like to say, however, is, again, not however, but when it comes.
Let's real quick though, just to address that, if it's true, and I think I said this earlier, it is. I believe that the counselors, at least the counselors I still have relationships with, weren't watching Facebook and didn't know anything about all the uproar until it was too late to move the meeting to a new venue. That being said, I also stand by what Kathleen said. Our meeting should be there, wired for sound, with all the
state-of-the-art equipment.
Lights, bells, and whistles we got right here.
Yep.
And just make it happen. All right. So now she's going to talk about something that I think is very poignant. This is super, super awesome. I thought this is actually where I think she kind of comes to the defense of the council.
To, eminent domain takings, the relationship that the town is going to have and the communications that the town can have is going to be with the landowner. So I think to an extent where the town and the town council and the manager were coming from, you're only going to be able to speak to the landowner. I would urge some of our townspeople to look to Chris Young, who is the owner of Wadsworth LLC that owns the building. And again, pursuant to what we heard at the last council meeting, he was in agreement to sell the building.
So, did you understand what she said there?
In regard to what? That Chris Young's the owner and
so the community, right? So she was saying that because right now the community's kind of going after Jim and the council, right? When what she was trying to say was, and this is what I feared that a lot of people might not have picked up on, that Chris Young is the owner, and I'm not saying we should go after this guy.
No.
Chris Young knew the town of Winthrop was looking to build a fire station. Knew that they were looking for spots and they had exhausted many options, and he was interested in selling his building. What happens to the people who live in the building, as unfortunate as it is, has no bearing on the town council's work. It's the will of the man that wants to sell his building, because this is a friendly domain take. It is not a hostile one. There's an agreement that's signed, sealed, and delivered that will execute automatically on the evening of the vote, or be null and void on the evening of the vote.
So is this stopping Chris Young from conducting business and maybe, profiting off his building that he owns, that he has the right to own, and that he has the right to sell?
No, he's making money on it.
Well, not if the vote is voted down.
Right, but that he went.
And
into
he's
that
like, "Hey, wait a minute. How come? I can't never sell this building now."
No, he can, but
not to the town.
Not to the town.
Slippery slope.
Yeah, and well, here's the other thing that you just reminded me of. So, I don't know how. Just for the benefit of most of us who don't really understand the funeral business, apparently, apparently, I've learned that they get prepay money. Right. So people call up and say, okay, I want to start paying for my services now so my kids don't have to do it or whatever.
Kirby's, we're talking about the funeral home. Yeah. But they would be on the hook to pay those people back.
Well, the other part is now that people know that it may be over in November, who's going to start prepaying? And then if it doesn't pass, how much money? It's pretty obvious that they've been slower in terms of doing funerals. It's very, very obvious. And so, you wonder how much this could hurt them if it doesn't happen. I mean, there's that. I mean, and they're a beloved family business.
They've been
right?
here forever.
Yeah. I went to high school with David. I knew Warren, and I know Julie too. So Anyway, so there's that. All right. Okay. So now that was I thought Kathleen did very well though. I think she was trying to help get off of the council.
How much of this do you think really sinks in with the council? How much of it do you think they just go, we're never going to move this place? You know what I mean? Like, it's only speculation, and it's kind of like, but they're sitting there, and they're like, yeah, whatever. No, we like the Harvey room. We're not going to move.
Oh, oh yeah. There's no. Well, come on. I mean, I have to say. Well,
so what are they going to drive another 45 seconds to the high school? 2 minutes to the high school. You know what I mean? It just. Oh, this is so hard to move to the high school. Oh my God, it's so hard. How can they put me through this?
My commute just got a nanosecond longer.
They're killing me.
Oh wait, I can't hit my favorite coffee shop on the way. Now I got to go out
It's
of
like
my way.
my 19-year-old when I asked her to take out the trash, like,
I
Jesus.
should shut up because I mean I walk into my office every day 5 feet.
All right, what's up? What's next?
All right, so now we have the Chamber of Commerce President Betsy Shane talking about the businesses in the Wadsworth building.
There are numerous businesses in that building, not just on the first floor, but on the second and third floor also. And we've got to keep that in mind going forward and what that might look like, because there is almost no.
I just want you, can you see up there?
Up where?
Right here in the upper right. You can't see my mouse? Upper right.
There it is, right there. Yeah.
You see that?
Oh, yeah.
That's your buddy.
There
All right,
he is.
we're still going.
Yeah.
No retail or office space available in this town. If you moved them all tomorrow, there wouldn't be spaces to move them to. So we've got to keep in mind that, and also the fact that this town is built on only small businesses. There's no industry here. And we all support each other. It's been fantastic, but we have to keep supporting that these guys can, if they have to move, have a vehicle and a resources in order to make that happen.
So that was important because where are the folks, the church, where are we going to put them? Patsy's could actually go, I mean, there's an opening in Michael's Mall there. Katie's Kitchen closed. So that's an opportunity. And sorry, my best wishes go to Katie and her family. They worked very, very hard. Just the unfortunate part was, from my understanding, is that a lot of their business was up North Shore. And of course, the pandemic had a lot to do with it too. So best of luck. But the point being, that spot's available now, and it's not that far of a move, and it seems like it would be a natural fit. There's kitchen equipment in there, so how much updating does it need? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But what do we do with the people who are in the church? Where do they go? That's the question.
Now, Somerset is a dual-use building, correct?
It is a mixed-use building, sir.
Mixed use. Is there anything there?
There is just our friend Mark Chapdelaine, I believe, is the only person renting right now.
So there's that. But someone just said the rent is ridiculous there at Michael's Mall. That's a whole nother thing.
Well, I've heard that too. I couldn't speak from experience, but okay. I couldn't tell you from experience, but I mean, from what I understand too, though, listen, I've talked to people who have rented there, and they've said that the landlord's been very good working with me.
Hold on.
Okay.
You're with the votes.
Hello, Scott.
Hey, how you doing?
Hi, Carol.
Good, it's Carol.
What's up, Carol?
So the other thing that just as you were talking about the businesses in the Wadsworth building, the other thing that only got mentioned briefly by one gentleman, I think right before Kathleen, was the businesses along Winthrop Street. Like McCormick's has been there 40 years. Express Burritos over there. I think Ceruli's store is over there. There's a daycare, I think
right.
The law office too. So when this construction starts, assuming that it passes, let's say, how many times are they going to rip up the street? How many times, nobody's going to be able to get over to those businesses. So what's going to happen to the businesses that are not in the Wadsworth building that have been there for a long time when there's no real estate space or it's a lot more expensive?
Well, I would think they would take a page out of the Center Business District and how they suffered through that rebuild, right?
Right.
It's
will they be able to make it?
Well, you know what? That's up to the people of Winthrop. I think that's up to the people to park down the street and walk to the business. You know what I mean? I think that's where that lies. And the people in the center seem to have survived that. But that's a good point. I don't think anybody's taken them into consideration. You know, I don't think, well, nobody has yet. I haven't seen the meeting. I did see a couple of people on Facebook bring it up. But yeah, it's cause and effect, right? It's
Sure
a case
is.
of cause and effect.
Right.
Yeah.
And if, you know, the fire trucks are kind of pulling in and out of there every day, how many people, you know, it's the whole thing. It's the whole
Yeah.
thing. But,
Yeah. It's disruptive.
Well, right.
Yeah.
And the good news is in the long run, you'll have more people up there, right? That will be more tempted to visit those businesses right across the street. So there is that,
Yeah.
if there's a silver lining. Thank you for your comment, Carol.
You're very welcome.
All
Have
right.
a great night, guys.
All right, Carol. Thank you.
Okay, so here we have, I don't know this young woman's name, but I wanted to share this video. This is the first time I've watched the replay of it. But this is Jim taking a little bit of a bath here. So let's just play it and then
Comment after.
we'll comment after.
All right.
Totally opposed to building a fire station at the Winthrop building. There's no way that fire engines can be pulling in and out of that narrow street. You know right now, whoever did the center didn't do it properly because a fire engine coming down our street can't even turn. He has to back up. So I wouldn't trust any consultant to tell us they do the right job. I totally believe that the old school should be a public safety building for both police and fire. The police department is sitting in a building full of black mold. Why do it all together? Don't be wasting money buying another building when you've got a school down there. They can pull right out onto Pauline Street, not bothering anybody. And when they come back, they can pull in through the park if you build a road. The police can park behind there also. Don't think that, hopefully, God forbid, you're not trying to put condos down where the old school is. You can't move in this town. Look what happened this weekend. They had to do high water rescues because the town was flooding everywhere. You need to put a police station right on Pauline Street with police and fire, an ambulance. There's plenty of room
Tired just watching her.
to do it if it's done properly and not
Did you hear
wasting your
that?
money taking over buildings people that have done public safety buildings, Wilmington, Natick, Revere, they're all in one big area for themselves and they all get along well. And it can be done in that size of a lot. Enough is enough for this town. You're killing us. You can't get out of Winthrop anymore in the morning or in the evening coming home because there's so much traffic. Do the right thing. Give the police and fire a nice building down on Pauline Street. They deserve it. They protect our lives every day. Get the police out of that crummy old post office that's full of black mold.
Did you see that?
God damn, I'm motivated. Ask not what you can do for your town, but what your town can do for you. Or
Did
the
you
other way
see-
around.
Did
I
you
saw
see-
it.
She just gave the thumbs up to Joe.
Yeah, but she was yelling at everybody.
Well, but why would she give the Joe's all for the fire station?
Yeah,
He's-
maybe she knows him. Or he's in her district or something. Let's ask Vasily, the rising star.
Surprise visit.
He's auditioning for the other co-host position on Winthrop Votes.
Hey, listen, I've been watching from the start, and I said, okay, let me see how long it's going to take me to jump on this.
Nah, buddy, I'm in control of that. If it was Todd, you'd still be in the green room.
Right.
So listen, I can see the compassion, right? But this still goes back to revenue.
Yes.
Right? Like, okay, let's build a safety building, but if a fire station is going to cost us 40 to 50 million debt exclusion, then we now add another 40 to 50 for police and safety. So now we're looking at over $100 million. Now, I don't know if that's the actual estimate, so please don't, but I'm going off of what a fire station would cost, right? Who's paying for it? We're going to continue to come out of our pocket here as residents. We need to generate revenue in the town first. if we didn't sit on this location for 7 to 8 years, and we have already been accruing all of this revenue, maybe we can go ahead with these projects. But okay, put a safety building up, but it's going to cost us a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, there's a chunk of land up by the cemetery.
Oh yeah.
Off of Revere Street. It's right across.
Yes.
It's my wife and my mother and my brother are buried right there on that ledge, right? You go down the hill, parking lot, big chunk of land there, right? That's owned by the town, correct?
Are you talking about the soccer fields?
Is that the soccer field?
On the behind the Fort Banks School.
Yeah, so when you come in, you're going up toward the cemetery, right?
Yeah.
When you come in off of Revere Street, you go past the school, you go past the Public Works Department, right?
Yeah,
and then
all
on the
way up there.
right, isn't there a field there, a big field?
Yeah, Salucci Field. Yep.
Salucci Field.
So there's that eminent domain, whatever, town property, not going to cost any money to buy it, right?
They don't like going in down Kennedy Drive just because of the traffic during the pickup and drop off. If God forbid there's an emergency.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
point,
that
good
is a
point.
traffic nightmare.
They can make an access road. No?
There is one.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
that's a show we'll talk about another time.
So, Vasily, it was you that I was talking to, and it was the golf club. The golf club pays $15,000 a year.
So that was the article in the newspaper from 2016 that on their previous lease. Now I'm not 100% sure on this. I mean, that's what was stated, $15,000 a year.
Okay, Jesus.
That they pay the town of Winthrop. Now, there was a new contract negotiated in 2017, January 2017, that was voted on by the council. And I believe one of the counselors made a suggestion that the town manager looks for a 20-year lease. Now, I cannot find the lease. And I'm just curious. I'm trying to find creative ways for the town to generate revenue because it's getting tiring.
We've been saying that for 2.5 years now, however long we've been doing this live stream. Yep.
It's getting tiring. And I had some people say a couple comments to me after the meeting. And all I said to them is, do you continue to want to make the same amount of money in this town and take 1% increases or zeros?
Yeah.
Does your kid enjoy making the money they do here? I mean, it's the reality check. Come on.
Absolutely. And Todd has championed that cause again from the beginning, as far as the town needs to come up with other ways to get revenue.
Development is not the answer.
And even that lady that was just talking, she said that. She goes, don't put more condos at the top of Pauline Street don't do that,
No, she brought up a good point, but I will just say, I'm a prime example. I taught in Winthrop for 4 years. When we went into negotiations with the town, and we're looking out for our best selves, right? I want to make the most money possible, and do what I have to do to survive. Right. Well, you know what? They didn't give it to me, and I had to say goodbye. Yeah. More people should be doing that. If they're not going to budge, then you have to make the next step and move.
Right.
I would love to see what the retention rate is in the teacher, fire department, DPW, and see how long people stay here.
We know the police department retention. Chief said that. That's hard.
Yeah, but
there's other places making a lot more money right next door.
Well, and the police department, they do great off of their details, right? But that doesn't go to their pension. No. So if they're maxing out at 90,000 and then they retire, that's their salary.
It's going off their base salary. That's
correct. Yeah. I mean, that's a reality check for any young police officer going in. Yep. You got to think about when you're about to retire. So, I mean, if the town wants to continue to keep good employees and for a long period of time, we have to generate revenue.
Absolutely.
But
so stay on. You got a minute? You want to stay on?
I got a minute. I can stay on.
All right, let's finish watching this. What do you got, Todd?
Do we have to? Okay, so this is beautiful too. There was a rules and ordinances meeting right before this meeting, right? So at the previous meeting, Jim put on the agenda Rule 11, which was decorum. And if you read the decorum rule, if you read the decorum rule, it doesn't really address dress code, but it also doesn't address tardiness, nor does it address lateness. I'm sorry, absence. The charter addresses absence, and we're trying to strengthen that language. So they were asked to look at dress code. They should have been added to look at tardiness because, I mean, except for Tuesday night, there's 2 or 3 of them that are habitually late. But anyway, let's listen to this, and then I'll get to the main point.
All right.
Meetings. There's a motion coming out of committee with a favorable recommendation, does not require a second. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, I will ask for a roll call vote, please.
Counsel Honan?
Yes.
Counsel Fusillo?
Yes.
Counsel Munson?
Yes.
Counsel Belcher?
Yes.
Counsel DeMarco?
No.
Are you watching, Rob? I just want to hear. I'm open-minded to hear why you would vote against a business casual dress code. If you have a good reason.
Is he doing it just to do it? Like, is there...
Like if he's breaking them? Oh, that's cute.
I'd love him to call us, Rob. Let us know what that was all about.
Yeah, let us know what that.
This is like the most.
I wonder if it has to do with the boot. It may have to do with the boot.
I can't dress business casual because my boot's on my foot.
My pants don't fit over my boot on my foot.
That's a pretty good guess, Vasily. Come on, Rob, give us a call. We want to hear this.
Is Rob wearing those like pull away Velcro basketball pants? You know when they're going on the court, the rip off. Is that what he's wearing behind that table?
God, I hope not. The poor guy broke his foot.
The crutch standing up against the wall in the back. Let's not calling him Tiny Tim.
Okay, so this goes on now, okay, because now there's another vote for appointments, and I want you to, just listen, and we'll have a little bit. This is a little bit more fun too.
Counsel Flockhart?
Yes.
Counsel Aiello?
Yes.
Vice President Ruggiero?
Yes.
President Lettieri?
Yes. Motion is passed. Committee appointments, I have several appointments which I'll take individually.
I guess Fetterman can't serve on this.
Excuse me?
council.
So, that the town council affirm the appointment made by the council president for the following terms to expire on June 30th, 2026. Board of Appeals, Mark Chapdelaine. Is there a motion? Motion by Councilor Belcher, seconded by Councilor Fusillo. Any discussion on the motion? Vice President Ruggiero.
So this is a new appointment, it's not a reappointment. If this were to pass, how many open positions would be remaining on the Board of Appeals, just given that a few meetings ago, we voted to expand the Board of Appeals by 1 member or 2 members or whatever.
Right, we went from 6 to 7. I believe this fills the board, but I'll ask Council Clerk. Was looking it up as we speak.
Mark Chapdelaine's sense of judgment and his professionalism. I think he'd be great to have back on Board of Appeals.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The town council affirms the appointments made by the town council president of the following for their terms to expire on June 30th, 2026. To the planning board, I am appointing Jason Palutro. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Councilor Fusillo. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilor Belcher. Discussion. Councilor Vice President Ruggiero.
Same question. If this is a new appointment, not a reappointment, if this passes, how many open positions would be on the planning board?
I know the council clerk is looking this up. My understanding is the planning board as currently constituted at 7 will fill it. But let's just clarify.
Yep, we all set with the planning board.
Okay. Any other discussion on this motion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no.
Okay, just real quick, you don't have to make the screen smaller. Okay, that's fine if you did.
All right, I can do it.
How many people do you think voted in that call?
4.
But you heard all ayes. It was actually closer to 8, I think.
Okay.
But did you hear any nays?
No.
Okay,
No.
Carrie. Okay, here we go.
One abstention. 2 abstentions.
Now you notice what's happening here, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
3.
Well, you already voted, so we can't vote and then abstain, so.
I didn't vote.
You can roll call.
5-4, I think,
Division.
it's 5-4. 5 yes, no.
The rest doesn't matter. But first of all, they vote yes, and then they want to abstain after Joe abstains. Why is that? And why is Joe abstaining from voting on a planning board? And do you know why this is happening?
No.
Someone's no longer on the planning board, and Joe Aiello and company are unhappy about it.
Oh, Julia Pringles Wallace is not on the
Bingo.
planning board. That was their ace in the hole there.
Yeah, so
She's not on the planning board anymore, so they don't want. If she's not on it, we don't want anybody on it.
right.
It's kind of
So
what
this
it
is a
right?
replacement. Is this a replacement for her
Yeah.
seat?
Yeah, she look, Jim has the authority to not reappoint her.
Correct.
She never really reached out to him to warm up to him in any way when he got elected. In fact, he doesn't.
Yeah.
He and I've never talked about this really, but I mean, that she was behind, at least helped get Munson appointed so that we didn't have Karen Chavez.
Yep.
I mean, so Joe and company wanted her to stay on there. I mean, she is qualified, but come on, she's bike lane queen, and bike lanes have no place on streets. It's just it's nonsensical. So take that.
Bike
circus.
lane shouldn't even be a priority in this town right now.
Exactly.
No, they shouldn't be.
Exactly.
All right, so now we got a little treat. This is
Okay.
the piece de resistance. This is the last piece. And I think why I wanted to show this was because I do believe that there was some good said here. But I also believe there's other questions about what's said here. So let's see here. Come on.
I would love to hear the priorities from each member on this committee. Give me your top 3 priorities.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Todd, what are your top? Todd, what are yours?
.ma.us.
Well, my overarching priority is to give Winthrop back to the people in terms of who's in control, like in terms of money and making decisions about fees, right? If you want to fee us, we should decide that, not 9 people. And then we should decide how much the fee is, not 9 people, or it should be a tax, right? My other priority is finding revenue. I'm really focused on the center business district. I want to get with Miss Shane, see if we can work together to drive more. How do we market our restaurants? How do we do this better than we've been doing it? I want to close off the center on weekends at night and let the businesses do their thing. Let's have a stage. Let's have music. Let's have, a community night. Let's have a kids night. Let's have a kids weekend. Let's get thoughtful and let's really start a community is only as good as the children that it raises. And that's a fact.
Very true.
Can we get a Christmas tree down there with ornaments on it?
Well, we had one. It was just one ornament.
It was yours.
My lonely ornament.
We'll talk about that in November.
All right, here we go.
All right.
And there is also an opening on Airport Hazards Committee. Also, public relations, which we discussed earlier. Movie night on the beach, Winthrop Beach, August 26, 2023 at 8 p.m. See the movie Miracle and relive the 1980 U.S. Olympic hockey team. Thank you to Barbara Bishop and her group. And thank you for bringing it to our attention, too.
It's the whole committee.
It is, but
All right, get to
I see you right
Munson.
there. And it's easy enough. But it is going to be fun, and let's hope, pray for good weather. Councilor Honan, anything?
Nothing.
Councilor Fusillo?
Nothing.
Councilor Munson?
I did want to say a few words, if I may, about
here we go.
discussion today about the firehouse. I kind of empathize with the frustrations of this town, and I actually really, of all things, I really love the heart of Winthrop. Ultimately, this town is coming to the defense for small businesses. That's a big statement about this town, and being a small business owner, I love that. It makes my heart melt. So I applaud this town's heart. I do feel as though that there's some mistruths, some myths, and misconceptions that need to be dispelled, and that's what the...
Just one question, just a quick one. If the friendly domain taking was for the Oddfellows, where his business is, do we think he'd feel the same way? I'm just generally curious.
This guy is such a panderer.
Okay, here we go.
Such a panderer.
Firehouse building committee is all about, and I look forward to them to dispelling some, things like the narrow streets causing problems for the fire engines. Why would they propose it if they didn't think they could use it? There's a lot of setbacks. I don't want anyone to also think that there's some nefarious process that we're conducting some backroom deal on some of these things before it can be revealed. It's not our job to talk to the lessees so I don't want anyone to think that we're sitting here colluding or that Jim has any kind of undermining motives to get his competition out of business. It's crazy talk.
That I agree with.
I do
but
agree
I don't
with
know
it.
where he's going with the other
Should he have
stuff.
said that? Should he have brought that even up? Is my
No, because now you just introduced that into this whole thing. Like
subversive.
No one
He's being subversive. He's being subversive.
Talk to me about that. What do you mean? How so?
Well, he's being subversive by making that statement. Like Vasily was just about to say or just said. That's so if nobody knew about that, well, guess what?
Right.
Now they do.
Yep.
Now
why would you bring that up
investigating.
when it's not even an issue? It's not an issue, but I'm going to bring it up anyways. Because maybe I don't like Jim. Maybe Jim's up for re-election. Maybe I want to throw a little wrench into his works. Yeah, this guy.
Didn't think of that perspective. Okay, here we go.
It's done professionally, above board. There are some bad options that we had to rule out. If you look at the flood this past week, that's why 2/3 of the choices weren't available to us. Winthrop doesn't have a lot of public land to choose from. We only have so many things. And you know what? That place wasn't flooded this past weekend.
Stop
all.
Right there.
And it's a great
Stop right there. What does that have to do with anything? What is the flooding? Go on, Vasily.
So he was just about to say, and that's a great location, correct?
He was about to say about the Wadsworth building. Yeah.
So, we're all about small businesses, but that's a great location.
See? And what does the flooding have to do?
Vasily. I thought it was just me.
Go ahead, Vasily. Go ahead.
No, it's like you're trying to please both sides. It's, yes, it's a great location, and unfortunately, we're going to have to help the businesses out. Or, I really love the businesses, and we shouldn't be going there.
Maybe he's thinking that maybe he knows something about the help that we think is going to be provided. I don't know if you were watching when I was talking about Sandro's piece when he said, "I'm encouraged." Right,
the town. Yep.
And I think they will make it right. I do, and I don't have any inside information on that. All right, here we go.
Location strategically. The fire department chose it. And I'll tell you right now, we will not let any of those small businesses go unhelped finding new places if this plan does go forward. And I personally will see to that.
Oh, well.
Is someone writing checks? Is someone's mouth writing checks their ass can't keep?
Well, what if you don't get reelected there?
What's he even going to do?
Yeah.
He's going to build buildings?
This dude is just pandering for votes. I mean, geez. And let me get back to the flooding. I last time I checked, I think fire trucks can go through water.
No, no.
I think last
No.
time I checked, I don't know. But
No.
But what is this do? Like, he was waiting to say this. Like, he was waiting for his moment. This is all pre-planned in his head. I'm going to make this passionate statement at the end.
Was it scripted out?
That's what I mean. It was all pre-planned. He had
his campaign manager, who was reading the script in front of him.
Does he have cue cards like Joe Biden? Does he have big cue cards?
It was like the Judiciary Committee and the clerk behind mouthing the.
Yeah, what he's supposed to say, and yeah.
Well, Kurt writes, at the last meeting, Jim said that the council is to be talking about the firehouse as information, not to try and sway votes. Just a summary of what was said. So I'm thinking Kurt feels like John was trying to sway votes there. Does anyone else
Of course he was.
concur?
Well, absolutely. He stated that I'm gonna take care of it. If these businesses go out, I'm gonna be the one to help out.
He needs to be indicted. Needs to be indicted for that.
Not another one.
Needs to be indicted for that. Indict John Munson.
Indict John Munson.
You know what? Jim is right. Jim gave the information out. This is the project. He's not swaying anyone anyway. He made it very clear it is up to the voters in November, and that is it. Here's the information. Hopefully people start going to the meetings. That'd be excellent.
Munson said it's not our job to talk to the leasees. Did he not say that?
He did.
Right?
He did.
But why would it hurt? Doesn't hurt.
Yeah,
right?
I think a nice conversation with them.
Yeah. It's like, why not just go over and say, hey, listen, however they do it out, however they work it out. But a heads up doesn't hurt.
If a business, if you're a small business fan in a small town and you have a community based, my question is, because as I thought about all this, I am honest. I'll be honest right now. I'm kind of glad I am not elected yet, because I don't know that I'd want to be in this position either. Because again, everyone knows me. My mouth is big when it comes to taking care of the community. I'm more the kids first. I mean, everyone else can go pound sand. It's the kids first, but obviously we need businesses, and so I'm with them. But there's only there's what is the greater good? That's the question. What is going to, and the people should decide this. That's where ultimately I come down.
So let me ask you this.
It's irrelevant.
Well, dude, what did you think? I saw somebody say today that this has happened in the past, and they put it to the vote until it got put on the ballot, until it finally, I forget what it was, it finally passed, right? So if this gets put on the ballot this time, and it gets shot down, are they going to put it on next time? Are they going to keep trying this?
It's a great question. I would hope, because I do think this is going to get it's going to get wiped. No one is going to vote in favor for this location. I would hope that the Firehouse Committee goes into the first couple of meetings looking for those alternative locations. That way, we can have a special election once they find that location. It sounds like the community is all for it, but just not at that spot.
Just not at that spot. I think absolutely that is the 100%. Hit the nail on the head. That is the mindset of the people. Nobody is against this.
They're just against the spot.
Well, until it becomes.
I'm going to tell you though. I think they made a really bad mistake not giving us a big picture of what's to come. Yeah. Because if this is a $40 to $50 million project, then what's the next one? And what's the one after that? Because this is not just the firehouse. This is then going to be 5 years down the line, the police station.
Just like the schools.
Exactly. So, we need to have a big picture as far as what are the projects that we're looking at, and give us an estimated cost. Because, okay, the location's great. And then once we find out it's another debt exclusion, and what are your taxes, what's it going to cost us? Are people willing to continue? And then what other additional fees are we going to get? There's so much to think about. We need to know what's ahead.
In their hearts, they want this, but in their pocketbooks, they don't.
Well, that's what,
that's what really matters in the end is how much they're paying. And like you said earlier, Vasily, in your speech at the council meeting, when is enough enough? You know, you get the families are just going to be like, I'm just going to go get a fucking apartment in East Boston, and that's not even cheap either.
No, and then also think about if you have a young family here, you pay user fees.
Yeah.
Right? Like at school, you pay user fees to play sports. I don't know what that is, right? I don't know how much that is right now.
$250 for one.
Wow.
You know, is there a cap?
Yeah, there's a family cap. I forget the number, but I think it's like $750 or something. It's not cheap.
I remember my parents had to pay for 3 of us, and I believe the cap was like $1,000.
It was.
You know,
it was $360 something when I got on the council.
It was when you were on the school committee, I think.
And then I went and I dropped it. I said, "Yeah, where this is, I wanted to get rid of it." And they're like, "This, you won't be able to do that. Let's just take the victory and move on."
Yeah,
like, why? Kids should not play for sports. Period.
No, the cost of living is just inflation, grocery increases. Now we include trash fees. You want to buy extra bags, there's another $15. I mean, when does it end? And the community needs to start speaking up more about it. Well, you got to put your foot down.
I said that at the beginning of the show. 150, 200 people show up there for this, but where are they on the other meetings?
That was and that's the genesis for Winthrop votes, right? So, so let me just add something to this. And you're going to get there, Vasily, and Scott, you and I have been there. When the kids come, your life is engulfed when they from youth sports until they get into high school. Then you get a little breathing room and you can start paying attention.
Yep.
Well, I managed to pay attention the whole way through, but you're right. So we can maybe people get more involved with at least Winthrop votes. Maybe we finally get that other co-host that's not like Carol, because Carol starting to agree with us now, but someone that sticks to that has some disagreements and can make a cogent argument to help foster a better discussion. Because from the mouth of the great Jordan Peterson, if you're really a thinking person and you want to have a meaningful conversation, you have to risk being offensive and offended. Because Vasily and Scott, you guys worked your careers are union environments. I have some opinions that might be offensive, but as thinkers, you're willing to talk about them.
Absolutely.
That's the difference.
Yeah. Hey, let's get to this question that Kurt asked. This is a good question. My question is, why was the last proposals at the golf course and or the Little League field not put through to be put on the ballot, but this one is? Just like what Vasily said about the ordinance committee, how come this is on the ballot? You know why? Because none of them want to touch it. They want it, but they don't. They're like, we got to leave this one up to the people because it's a volatile situation. You know?
I don't know why the Little League field. I don't, probably because it's the only one we have that looks good. Maybe, I don't know.
I believe probably access on both sides, Todd. Maybe, who knows? Because you have Veterans Road and then
the golf course was pretty obvious why that proposal. I mean, you had one counselor on the board at the golf course.
So did that counselor recuse themselves, as they've been saying that about Jim lately? I mean, like,
I don't know. I don't remember, but it wouldn't surprise me if he didn't.
I mean, I just like we're afraid to speak up here. I mean, I brought it up. You know what? If people don't want to talk to me, it's perfectly fine. But you know what? At least we're putting ideas out there on the table.
Yeah. Have you been threatened yet for talking to me and Scott and being on this show? Or are you okay?
No.
Good,
no, I don't.
Good.
I don't care.
Hey, Vasily, I'll fly up there, buddy.
Me.
You tell me. And
I'll
you just
send
point.
I'll send a couple chickens after him. We'll be good.
Let's go. I'll fly up there, buddy. You just point.
No, you know what?
Guy.
I'm very honest with people. I'm very honest. I don't really change my mind on a lot of things, and excuse me. I listen, and if I feel whatever the best option is that's where I go.
Okay, so Vasily, let's close this out. I have a question for you, my friend.
Oh, geez.
Give us an update. Give us an update on your plot plan. Right?
All right,
as the saga continues.
Yes, the saga's almost done.
All right.
The saga is
what's going on? Do you have your permit or not?
Well,
all right. So that is a great question. I actually ended up getting another quote today for a plot plan, $2,500. But no, the chairman of the Board of Health did respond back and stated that a plot plan can be drawn.
Yep.
which it should be the way. I have submitted my application to the Inspectional Services the health department. They have forwarded my application over to the Board of Health, and it is set for the agenda for the end of this month, August 22nd or 20th. However, the chairman of the board is waiting on the discussion between the town manager and I, and he would like it in writing, even though the town manager has already spoken to Mr. Schmidt and has told him what was going to happen. So he just would like it probably in writing for the record.
Good luck with that.
So I can't wait for that meeting. I'm just gonna sit there and wait and just,
And he's still not Zooming the meetings, is he?
Well, so I'm going to follow back up at the next town council meeting because, like we said last week, this is not this should be a quick fix. This should not take a month to have these meetings Zoomed.
Yes.
Especially if they're located in the Harvey room. I mean, this is ridiculous. And here's the best part. Myself, I believe Carol also mentioned it, but another individual mentioned it at last night's meeting, why the minutes haven't been posted.
Welcome to Winthrop, folks, in our struggles for 2.5 years on the minutes.
So I think people are, something happens in town and their eyes start to open a little bit,
Yeah, if they Zoom it, that's their minutes. That's literally that be counted as their minutes.
That's correct.
So
correct.
Just Zoom it, and it kills two birds with one stone. It takes care of the real vulnerable population in our town, the disabled people. They are the real vulnerable population. None of this other whatever they're throwing out there, the Pringles Wallaces and all them. They're the ones that need to be taken care of, especially when it comes to if they want to get involved in the community, in local government. What if one of them wants to run for something? They have to get versed on what they're going to say, what they want to do, what they want to watch meetings, learn. Carol said she'd never been this involved. Now she's deep into it. That's got to be expanded. That's another time for another show. But all right. So you got your next meeting coming
posted.
up. Oh, absolutely.
Posted for sure.
Absolutely. Hey, thanks for the pop in
on social media. Thanks, guys.
Hey, you can pop in anytime you want, buddy.
Yeah, please.
It's not up to Todd. It's up to me.
I don't see it when you pop in. I have no say.
All right, Vasily. Have a good night, buddy.
Bye, guys. Have a good night.
Peace out.
You got it.
Well,
yeah, I saw him pop up on the screen, and I was like, "Yep, he's coming on." Kurt can do the same thing. Why Kurt doesn't pop in, I don't know.
Right, Kurt.
Kurt's always good.
Yep.
He's always good when he's on. He contributes.
He's too nice, I think. Be a bull. Run
just
through the
pop
door.
on.
Kurt.
He's
Run
running for precinct 2 councilor. Come on, pop in. We'll give you 5 minutes. We'll give you 5 minutes. Just go, buddy. Go.
That's cute.
All right. Well,
the good news is he didn't say anything foolish the other night, right?
Kurt, who's that? Kurt. Yeah. Minutes are
Kurt.
approved.
He didn't say anything foolish at the meeting.
Okay. So he just
at the next
said,
meeting. Yeah.
Minutes are approved at the next meeting.
The minutes from last night will be approved at the next.
Yeah. But still, they got to start zooming these things.
I agree. For posterity, record them, keep them. Yeah.
And people people have to watch it. Get to watch it.
Well, it's a great way to walk out of this meeting too, right? I mean, this show tonight, right? Again, it's never been. You saw, and you made the point that you can't complain when there's no room to sit because they don't need a big room because no one ever comes.
Yeah.
Right. So
she did say in a big event like this.
Local level. What's that?
Does. I'm sorry I cut you off. She did say, that lady did say in her fist pounding statement that not everybody, everybody, this was a big meeting and they should have known this was going to be a big meeting. But hey, listen, any one of these topics that come up could be a big issue for, at a town council meeting.
If no one ever shows up, it doesn't matter. If the auditorium's there, it's just going to be a better venue for when you do have those big meetings. It just is.
They prefer people not to show up, by the way.
I don't. If I'm going to be on this thing, I don't want to. I want people to come. I want to
Well-
have constructive conversations.
That's a good segue into the fact that when Todd Sacco gets elected for counselor at large, he will be the most accessible politician in the history of Winthrop politics. He'll be on live every Tuesday night. You can call him, you can message in, anything you want. You have questions for him, and he's available for you, unlike his opponent, Tracy Honan, who I don't know what she does. Really, I don't know what she does. But from what I understanding, when we started, or when I started mentioning that she didn't have an American flag, but a Ukrainian flag on her porch, all of a sudden the American flag came out. So she's paying attention.
That's good. I'm glad to hear
watching her opponent, buddy. But Todd will be here every week live to answer your questions. No politician in Winthrop has ever done that. Selectmen, councilmen, town managers, none of them. Todd will do it.
I'm a man of the people.
Yeah, that's what you're getting voted for. That's why they're going to vote for you. But you're a man of the people for the kids.
That's right. That's
For the
right.
kids.
For the kids, babies. Well, like we said, right? All politics starts at the local level.
That's right.
I want to thank everybody again that's been watching. Thank you very much. Share it if you liked it. Please start paying attention, not just around election time. We do have a big election coming up. Don't forget August 25th, starting at 5:30. There's going to be some free burgers going around at Adriana's. And they also offer beer and wine on Friday night. So come down with a thirst.
There you go. And like I always say, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. If you liked it, share it. If you didn't, well, thanks for watching this long. And we'll see you
next week. Andy Biggio. Don't forget, Tuesday night, Andy Biggio.
Yep. Winthrop's own Andy Biggio. And Winthrop's own best-selling novelist.
That's right.
Author. He's an author. I don't think that's a novel.
He's an author. Good enough.
It's best-selling author. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. See you next Tuesday.